Hey guys, this is Brian Sykes with AI Explorer. I want to introduce you guys to an application called ArtFlow. Now, ArtFlow is built around the idea of creating consistent characters that you can actually pretty much train a custom avatar for yourself and also then put it in different frameworks so you can position it more or less where you're looking to and then give it some structured actions that you want it to or that you want to apply to your character. I want to walk you through this. This is actually going to be my very first time of engaging with the tool myself. I've watched a few videos and seen how other people are playing with it, but I wanted to introduce it to you as a first time engagement. So one of the things you'll notice right away is I've got the ability to create your own AI actor. You have this as available under the free plan, so this is something that everybody can jump in and try for themselves. So I'm actually going to click on this and it tells me to sign up. Okay, once I get to this point, it's do we agree to the terms of service? Sure, accept terms. Let's jump right in. We're going to create our first image, but I'm going to go back to Character Builder. Create your AI actor. I'm going to choose this and upload my photos. It's going to be a male, adult, and we're going to call him Brian Sykes since that's me. And it says drag and drop your files or browse. I've already got, as you see, a whole selection of images here. It's telling me 0 of 20, and I've got 25. So actually probably should narrow this down. Okay, so this is where I usually get myself in trouble, is I'm going too fast for the machine and don't take time to read. So there we go. We've got 20 images now of Brian Sykes that's been added, and I'll click on Start Training. I do understand that this is going to take a little bit of time. It says due to extreme large traffic, it might take 1 to 2 hours or longer to process. So I'm going to go ahead and let this happen, and then I'll come back right here and walk you through the implementation of our avatar and how to work with this tool. Okay, so this is a whole day later from when I started this recording, but you see that now there is a Brian Sykes male adult character in my ArtFlow. So here's how we can make use of this application, and what you can see is there's kind of a step through up the top. Step 1, Step 2, Step 3, and with Step 1, it's creating a character. Step 2 is generating images or creating the scenes and the places and the worlds that you want that character to exist in. And then Step 3 is animating your characters. Now, I've actually kind of played with this in the meantime to kind of make sense of how some of these things work. And I want to walk you through the process. So I've already done the first, which is create your AI actor. And that was by uploading some images of myself. So with this, I'm able to do things. Clicking on create image, it pulls up generate, make variant, and it's kind of giving me some options right away. Image type, there's 2 things that are available underneath here, which is portrait or general. Okay, so with portrait, it says image type portrait. Portraits can be used as animated talking avatars in Video Studio. And general is this type of image can be animated directly using face detection in the Video Studio. Okay, what's the difference? Well, think of it this way. Portrait is going to give you more of a straight on so that everything's aligned and is going to help you to create the talking head, where general is sort of like creating a mid-journey prompt with a character in it. The face can be turned in any whatever angle that you like. The problem that you'll run into with this particular application is if the face is turned, it has a hard time recognizing the mouth and the movements that should take place in that. So that's kind of the difference between those two. Next is aspect ratios. Now there's 1:1, 3:2, and 2:3. I kind of like a wide format, so I'm going to leave mine at 3:2 for this particular case. Director mode. Now this is kind of a cool feature. This is a new feature that's available. When I turn this on, what you see is a character basically gets dropped into the aspect ratio that I've defined, which is 3:2, and it actually gives me the grid, show me the breakdown, and I'm able to grab this character and move him or her left or right, up and down, all within the confines of this box. Now the next thing that's kind of neat with this is down at the bottom, it says full shot, mid shot, close up, and extreme close up. Let me show you how this works. Simply by dragging this, it repositions the scaling of the character, the body character inside the image. So with this, I can go to full shot and I've got a full body shot. Now, maybe I want it to feel most of the way, like that. And so just by slight adjustments, you can fine tune exactly how large you want the character to be within your framed image. So there's, like I mentioned, full shot, mid shot, close up, and then extreme close up really brings that face right into the foreground. The other thing that you've got available is down beneath, it looks like a little three-dimensional rotation angle. When I click on this, it shows me different positionings of the head based off of that zoom level. Okay, so this is really kind of cool. And then by clicking the little arrows, it pops back into this location. So we could take this to full shot and we can adjust the angle of the body based off of full shot. Now in this, we're working with a general position, which means the body can be rotated. It's okay. And I kind of like the zoomed in effect, so I'm going to go ahead and do a close-up and see how well it does this. And I'm going to position him ever so slightly off to the right. Next is a prompt, where we can put in a prompt of whatever kind of character we're trying to create. And you'll notice that it's got the ampersand Brian Sykes. So ampersand Brian Sykes refers to the character that I created. So before, when I named it Brian Sykes, now I can conjure that using that character consistency going forward. Okay, so what can we tell about this particular thing? It gives us the default option of dynamic portrait of Brian Sykes. That's kind of cool. Okay, consistent face, we can add an actor. We already have one, that's why @Brian Sykes is there. Consistent full body. We have the negative prompting, which is we can choose things we don't want it to include. One of those that I found is it tends to do more than 5 fingers on a hand. So maybe that's something you want to point out, is make sure it doesn't have odd fingers. You've got different styles as well. So when I click on this and click on add style, and it shows me all the different styles. Now this is really interesting because when you go into the details and look at character builder, it says that this is to be applied to people or humanoid creatures, like, you know, if you had an alien or a robot, it still has the basic consistent structure of a humanoid shape, which is arms and legs and a head and such. Why I find that interesting is because the examples given for the styles is all of a dog. So with this, we see that we've got a lot of different varieties. The default is cinematic, but you also have digital, art, fantasy, watercolor, storybook, sci-fi, horror, oil painting, 3D anime, neopunk, vintage film, cartoon, 3D cartoon, classic, line art, papercraft, claymation, realistic, baroque, and the list goes on pretty good. This is a fairly decent collection of styles that you can apply to your image, and this is above and beyond the prompting that you're going to give to the image. So it's a way to kind of fast track and get to that specific style. I'll leave it at cinematic for now. And if you go down, you'll notice that's pretty much the wrap up, except for speed, which we can, if we have a premium or a paid account, then you can speed up the speed with which a render is done. This is something that you'll notice when you try this out, is if you're using the free version, it's going to give you free speed, which is basically you get what you pay for. It's not very fast. After working with Leonardo and Midjourney and some of the Dolly and some of these other tools, I'm kind of gotten accustomed to the speed with which we can create things. That's okay. We're going to kind of work with what we've got here, and let's just throw something kind of interesting. So rather than dynamic portrait, which, you know, that's fine, but I want to create a different fitting here. How about steampunk? And I'd love to have some engagement live with you guys to get some thoughts around this. But I'm going to do a steampunk astronaut cowboy. And we'll do a Okay, still frame image from a movie about a steampunk astronaut cowboy named Brian Sykes who is on Mars checking the water harvesters. There we go. Now in this, I'm not giving it a lot of detail particularly related to what the astronaut should look like. We're still going to go with the referenced image of Brian, but also we're not kind of going into detail about the way he should be dressed, what the environment should be like. I'm really leaving this open to the interpretation of the AI because I'm kind of interested in how ArtFlow will take this idea and explore it. And I'll simply click on Generate. Now, this is a little bit of a slow process. It's going to take its time and render out some images. And what you'll see in the top right corner is it says Select from Gallery. Now, the gallery is a selection of pre-made images that you can work from, and these can be sources of inspiration. One of the things you'll notice is it right away has two different prompts that it's rendered applying to me. So I can click on this first one, and there's the character that kind of favors my face. Been a long time since I've had hair like that. But there's me as a wizard and with a fireball in his hand. Let's go back to the gallery again, and this looks like Brian Sykes, popular content creator, YouTuber, cool YouTube vlog. So this is somebody's prompt, and this is basically me in this kind of setting. This is kind of got an eerie feel of being me with hair. That's kind of interesting. And this one, it left me out altogether. So again, this is some gallery pre-made prompts, and so it basically takes your character and runs it through two different prompts and shows you what that character can look like. And what you'll see with all of these that's been created already is you have the ability to animate. There's also more, which is you can share the existing rendered result. You can make variations on this result. You can create video with the image, or you can simply download a watermarkless image. And in this case, it's saying that you have to have premium content in order to do that. But you are able to select an individual image, and you can choose this little download arrow here, which will download a copy of that particular file. And this one's kind of funny because it really does favor me. It's almost like if I could cover up the top part of the hair there, then that would be pretty close representation of what I look like. Anyway, I love these old vintage speakers in the background. So let's go back and see what else is happening in the gallery. So this is still in the process of rendering. It's not completed that first requested image. But while we're still kind of waiting for it to do its thing, here you can see some results. And I'm going to click on this one image here. Here's the character. It's influenced by pictures of me that were installed. I do not have a cleft chin quite like that. But the other details around the face and the nose and the mouth, that's close to being looking like me, so not too bad. The fingers are a little funny. This one's not as bad as some that I've seen, but the thumb is kind of like this weird little blob. Again, this is me kind of getting picky on things, but again, we're looking at a tool in relation to other tools we can compare it to. So with this, we can also do some interesting things. So I'm going to go back to this level, and we can choose Animate. Now with Animate, it opens up a whole new section inside of ArtFlow. And with this, we're able to see some things right away. Oh, look, there's the 4 images for the space character that we just created. Okay, so with this, let's go back to what I was doing. Is I've brought this in and I've said I want to animate it. Now, we can do a number of things, and it's letting us know what works with talking head. Remember what I pointed out before with general and specific on the style of the render it's going to create. With a head that's turned, as you see a couple of these pictures down here, when it turns, your mouth is not lined up properly, and so it can kind of get awkward in how it arranges the movement of the mouth. This case, it's going to be okay. It says click here to disable animation if we want to do that. But what we're going to do, say got it here, close this here. What should your character say? Well, we've got to come up with something for this character to say, and this will be funny is what voice to put with it.
Hi there. If you like what you hear, you can use my voice to create animated...
Okay, so figuring out which kind of sound to apply, you can actually upload your own audio In this case, I'm just going to go with what it kind of gives me as an option. And there are a limit to the voices. You'll notice that some, when I cross mouse over Dylan, it says upgrade. So he's not available in the free version. Wherever it is, and click on him and see.
Hi there. If you like what you hear,
this will work. So I'll choose him as my voiceover. And what should we have our character say? Okay, somebody take this piece of ice. It is so cold.
Somebody take this piece of ice. It is so cold.
Okay, so there we go. Not so dynamic, but we've created a basic little thing here where we've given it a voice. We've chosen the character and the image that we want to work with. And I can simply say export and animate. And it's telling me it's going to take 3 credits. Now here's the thing. This is the free version. I've only used 1 credit so far at this point. And it only is going to cost me an additional 3 credits to do an animation on this. So I'm going to click on that. And it will begin running. We're going to give it a name. I'll just call it Ice for now. Export video. And that's going to do its thing. And it takes us back to where we just were. Now, Image Studio takes me here where I can see all the different images that's already been rendered in this platform. Now, I didn't do these first 2 collections. Those were done by default when you create a character, but this one is one that's available, and you can see some of the different images that were produced. Okay, so this one kind of has the most like me look to it, I think. It's kind of interesting. Just one of those kind of crossing the threshold here and being interesting when you're working with a character that you've imported and it puts it in a different setting. Not truly, the steampunk element is showing up with the leather and the little snaps and things that are there. So just kind of fascinating. So again, this is working with ArtFlow. We've seen now the character builder where we've gone through and created a character. You can also work with existing characters. There's quite a few that you can work from. And so with these, you can use these to kind of help build out a story if you wanted to create a series of images where conversations are occurring between characters. And working with those that already exist is a fast way to kind of simplify that process. Next is the Image Studio, where this is all the things that you've created so far and have access to. Then there is a Video Studio, and this is where I'm currently rendering out the video where I used a voice, applied it to my character, and basically told it to animate. Now, the quality of animation is not up to par with what you get from Pika or Runway or DID or any of those applications that are more high-end. But as a fast way to create some characterization and a little bit of animation, this is not a bad tool, especially for the free access and the number of credits that's available. So it's worth kind of jumping into. You've got under here my videos, my drafts, tutorials, and templates. So the tutorials and templates could be really a huge asset for those who are like, okay, I want to take this to the next level. I want to see what's possible. And so it mentions here educational content, video greetings, talk to your customers with AI. So here's some fun things that they suggest. Again, this is a tool that you can utilize for whatever you see fit for. I think this is just kind of a neat little way to think about how this tool could be applicable to your needs. And then Story Studio is a whole nother thing. And this is where you begin taking multiple pieces to lay out an entire story. They give you some sample stories.
Dr. Olivia Stone takes a moment to absorb the awe-inspiring beauty of the Martian landscape. The mission has just begun, but she is already consumed by her quest to uncover the secrets of this mysterious planet.
Okay, so what I like about this structure is it's done in a storybook format with minimal animations, and it's just a great way to kind of fast track a concept. So if you're trying to work through how you want something to go, this is a simple way to do some video editing if you're not a video editor, and actually create the images and the settings and everything else that goes along with it, and then bring in the voice that's telling the story that you're trying to communicate. So again, this is Story Studio. They have a Discord where you can access and have a community to engage with. You can keep up with what's new. And that's really the gist of ArtFlow. Hopefully this is kind of an interesting exploration of a tool that may be an asset to you guys in the creative space. Again, this is Brian Sykes. Another tool shared that you can utilize to expand your horizons in generative AI as a creative professional. You guys have a wonderful day.